Well, hello everyone. Welcome to another Hybrid Major Glitches tournament race. Today we have the bronze match between Spleebie and Osse101. I'm Chex Human, and I'm joined by...
Malmo, how are you doing?
Good. Thanks, Malmo. I'm excited about this race. How are you?
Good. I'm a little bit bittersweet because the tournament's almost over, and we've got a bit of a long wait between now and the finals, but this will tide us over and hopefully give us 3 excellent games if we're lucky.
I feel the same way. We only have so many more matches before the tournament comes to a close.
Yeah. So Spleebie started out kind of middle seated and fought his way uphill through higher seeded runners all the way up to Osse until getting taken out by Krithel last weekend. Osse has played through several people, including myself, and was taken out by Purity Wong.
That's right. So we have Purity Wong and Krithel facing off in an upcoming finals match. And we are in the Hybrid Major Glitches tournament, so if you haven't tuned in yet, you might like to know that this is a Major Glitches logic, and we will be using out-of-bounds clips and screen wraps in the overworld, and certain clips in the underworld to navigate through.
And you'll see some instant divergence from no glitches as you see runners checking the island. This is not just something to look at, this is something you can get, and I imagine we'll be seeing it right now because it is the mirror and we want that.
Very cool. Yeah, so they will be boots clipping onto the slope, doing a downward teleport, taking advantage of the kick out that pushes you into the transition where you can dash over and then take advantage of the transition to walk down very far right onto the island.
Yep, no flippers needed, and definitely no mirror needed, because that would be problematic if it was. Osse is going to skip the flippers again, heading over to the hobo. Had to make sure he wasn't proving me wrong by going to Sahastula, but he is setting it for the hobo. We can tell because he killed the enemy. Spleebie is doing the same thing. This is a fast clip that has taken on popularity because hobo is an awkward one to route in. But if you do it right away, you don't have to worry about it.
We have a bottle. Always nice to find a bottle before a Kakariko trip.
And always nice to have a mirror when you have a bottle with a fairy in it.
Yes, that's exactly true. Because we might want to death warp later. Potentially. So
Spleebie is covering all of his bases. Look at this. He's going all the way to Sahasrah's closet. Does not want to mess around with the North world at all until he's done with all of this stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how these routes can begin. Just 3 trips to the east for Spleebie here.
And he gets rewarded with a sword.
Yeah, that's really good.
It's going to make his next play a lot safer if he decides to do anything that isn't going to Kakariko Village.
Yeah.
Not taking advantage of his mirror, though. It's only a little bit faster, I think, if you're taking the chest. I could not see the item on Lumberjack. I'm not sure if you caught that.
I didn't catch it. I did see that the hoarders have magic power. Oh, Spleebie already goes for a DMA here. Neat.
Ooh, I hope this doesn't mean that he skips the Lumberjack, because our tracker is telling us that there is some kind of rod. You usually need those.
Yeah. So there's the Quake medallion in the Lost Woods, and Spleebie has not seen that yet.
Yeah, he might take the Lost Woods with the Lumberjack check. I think he's feeling emboldened by his mirror and sword to go up the mountain. Both of those items make the mountain play a little bit more appealing for reasons we'll see in a second.
Yeah, it would be very possible that Spleebie goes immediately to the dark world. I don't know if he's going to do that, but it might happen.
Yeah, you're probably asking why are we going to the dark world? We don't even have a moon pearl yet. We don't need a moon pearl to go to some parts of the dark world. You can use mirror clips. You can misplace mirror portals and enter the world at locations that you actually haven't visited yet. But you will still be a bunny, so what you can do there is a little bit limited.
True.
It's a little bit like cross keys if you ever watch that. People can walk around as a bunny, they can do some checks, but they can't do all of them. So Spleebie is farming bombs, but not continuing to South Shore. He's going to go back up the mountain.
Interesting. Yeah, it's still likely that the moon pearl will be found in the light world, but we do have the option of approaching the dark world and light world at the same time with the mirror.
Spleebie attempted a clip that gets you to King's Tomb, and by landing inside the rocks, he tried to maneuver himself inside of the rock and ended up outside of it instead, so has to start over. Osse, meanwhile, has found the flute at Kakariko Village, making this check a lot more, I would say less orphanable, because you can just fly back anytime you leave something behind. So that makes the Kakariko play a little safer from a routing perspective.
Yeah, that's pretty nice. And Spleebie is able to check King's Tomb with the same DMD that you mentioned, and he can't escape it because we can't lift the rocks from the inside. Hey, there's Cane of Samaria in the library.
All right, Spleebie is taking a look at Tower of Hera, a very important information play, because Tower of Hera can be accessible, it can be fire locked, or it can be mire locked.
That's true. First we saw a compass, now we have a small key. So yeah, we don't know whether there's anything in the basement or not.
It's something locked. It's ire locked.
Right.
We don't know which one yet. Another cane for Spleebie. Second best cane in the game. This one's blue. He's going to clip to it and get it because it's something that might come in handy later. So Osse has fluted up the mountain. This is a Death Mountain ascent that you may have seen before. You take your flute out and you press Y, and a bird comes and picks you up and drops you off of the mountain.
Good to know. The Bombas medallion is on the floating island. So Spleebie's going to use an upward teleport to walk into the clouds, which splash around a little bit. And he's able to dash back onto land, and then use a spin speed to clip out of the island.
Osse is trying to do a Hera clip that keeps his screen wrap, but he's doing it without spin speed, which makes it a little bit tougher. So what he's doing here is he's doing our first Dark World check using the mirror.
Wow. So, that looked like a green pendant Thieves Town, and was that a pendant ice?
I believe so. Pendant ice means that glove doesn't necessarily have to be required.
Right. And meanwhile, Spleebie found the Moon Pearl in Spiral Cave.
So Osse has plans because he's not just instantly fluting, which he could. He's gonna probably clip down to Graveyard Ledge or King's Tomb and then flute from there. He does have to flute because he left a mirror portal in a location that he actually hasn't visited, which is Hyrule Castle. He did so by falling off the mountain a bunch of times without correcting his camera, and every time he does that, his map position changes, and that's where the mirror portal gets placed.
So, the bow and the book are in Paradox Cave, and Spleebie was 3 for 5 on chess turns in that room.
Yes, this wouldn't be a Spleebie race if we weren't counting chess turns. Osse has chosen Graveyard Ledge for the bomb pickups, I imagine. He's going to take Houlihan too. I think he wants the money because he could just flute to 4, but there's money here, so might as well get that too.
Yeah. It's quite interesting how we can navigate in glitched modes. The DMD causes a camera misalignment, so any hole that Link falls into returns him to Houlihan.
Spleebie's in the Dark World too, but he has the Moon Pearl. Where did he get that? It must have been
Cave.
Paradox Cave. Spiral. All right. That'll speed him up slightly. He's going for the instant hover as meanwhile Osse finds the hook shot. So both of them finding items that would speed up the other player's checks.
Yeah, that's true.
That's funny. But what Osse could do is... Oh, he can't though, because the Moon Pearl's at Spiral. Oh, there's a sword here too, at the pyramid. That must be nice. So you don't get hecked by skipping Sahasrara, because that's an easy one to put off.
True.
Now, he won't put it off too long. There is a bow early in the game that he'll eventually be grabbing, and Eastern will be very easy for him to return to, and he'll get that second sword.
And Spleebie
does...
Yeah.
He doesn't have a glove, so he has to clip to Hookshot Cave from a screen wrap.
Right. A heavy rock blocks the entrance of Hookshot Cave, but not the exit of it. So Spleebie can take advantage of that.
You might even see this seed finished without gloves at all. Very few things actually require a glove in A Link to the Past, if you know what you're doing.
This is quite dangerous for Spleebie.
Spleebie is taking a hover that isn't necessarily needed. He's going to reset the room to get that pot back. I think he may have picked it up by accident while dash turning.
Mm-hmm.
This is a very bold hover, but he is good at hovers, so he could probably pull it off if this Bari cooperates.
Okay, off it goes.
He's just going to go for it. Yeah, it does seem to be staying out of his way. There you go. And he kills it for its trouble. And it's got to do one more hover to get to.
It's not just that the hookshot would make this faster for Spleebie. It would put these checks in logic. Hovers are not expected in this mode.
No, if they were, I would not be playing it. All right, he makes it. On 3 hearts, he makes the hovers, gets another heart out of that pot. I actually didn't know that heart respawns. Or I guess he never picked up that pot.
Right.
You have to be pretty confident with these to do this on 3 hearts.
I believe you can take an advantage of a DMD from the... Look at that stall appearing under the bush, by the way. Very nice. Anyway, Catfish is right here, so it's a pretty convenient check. And it's pretty amazing that we're checking it at 12 minutes in.
Oh yeah, Spleebie had a fairy in a bottle. So that gave him a little extra safety. Now he has 2.
Yeah.
That jogged my memory. And he finds a glove, which I just said we could skip. But I guess we won't be skipping it this time. Oh, having the flippers makes these checks a little more efficient. He does not have to splash delete or do anything fancy. He can just swim. Doesn't have to go all the way from Ice Rod Cave with the water walk. There's another bottle, and he doesn't have the money for Zora, and he says no to the bottle. It is a very slow check to get to that location, so I can't blame him. Or he already has 2. He hasn't been to Kakariko Village yet, but he has the opportunity to do Kakariko and Village of Outcasts together with the mirror. That's not what he's doing, but he could.
So, yeah, Spleebie is going to Spectacle Rock, and this is going to be a play for Palace of Darkness, because a transition south here will put us in Palace of Darkness.
Ooh. Osse has found the lamp in the back of Escape. He went all the way through the dark rooms to get there. That lamp is currently out of logic for him, but the glove that Spleebie found at Waterfall would put it in logic.
Funny.
Fire Rod would also put it in logic, but he doesn't have that either. Was that Fire Rod? Is that what was on Lumberjack? Because that's haunting me now. Because if that's a Fire Rod on Lumberjack, we want to have the lamp.
So one thing that might encourage Spleebie to come to pod is that Eastern is clearable. And one thing about pod is it's not bad to get back to. It's so easy to get there in the first place that if we don't find a hammer, then it's not a big deal to get back to Helma later.
Yeah. In the theme of each runner finding the item that would make it faster for the other runner, though, Spleebie is missing the lamp that Osse has found.
Yeah.
Osse is missing the glove that would have made the lamp easier to get.
Yeah.
So this is quite the trade-off.
Yeah, I'm afraid that not having lamp will slow Spleebie down a little bit, but it's not going to be a big deal.
When you have the flute, you can just leave Mini Moldorm Cave. And Ice Rod Cave is something you can get anytime now, because you can just flute to 8. Osse is going to return to Chicken Hut, which I imagine didn't have a bomb for last time he was here. Completely missed that.
Okay.
Good job remembering, because it's so easy to leave behind these Kakariko checks and not think about them later. Smart of him to not waste his time buying bombs when he had the flute. Speaking of buying bombs, Bottle Merchant also left behind. Yeah, he picked up... Wait, he hasn't been here. Oh, he activated his flute and just left. Okay. That's wild. Yeah, okay. So he found the flute and said, I want to do mountain. So he just went and activated flute and went mountain. Alright. And there's a sword here too at Kakariko Well. I didn't realize that neither runner had done these Kakariko Village checks. I thought Osse just did them very quickly.
It's kind of amazing how I assumed the same thing.
Yeah, well, he did Blind Hut, which is I think is where he found the flute. But
okay.
And then left, which is something I never would have even thought to do. Like, just do half of Kakariko. It's something you have to think about on the fly because it's not a standard route at all. Spleebie has no big key, but it's going for the hammer yump. So he did like a loop around, and the big key must be in here. Or he forgot, I'm not sure. But Osse can climb Hera with the hook shot. This is not in logic to do so, but he could. And it will give him some information about how many items there are, whether the big key is locked behind Misery Mire or behind the fire in the basement.
And Osse dashes through the water in the fairy room. Not my taste, but I think runners find it more comfortable to do that. So we have red mail so far and Hera.
Wow. Oh yeah, Spleebie is still on green, so it must have been something. I mean, they've taken so many divergent routes, I've lost track of where people have found what. Both of them will probably find the other one's items shortly.
Very nice fight from Osse. 3 spins. We didn't get knocked back by Moldworm at all.
Very clean. One theme I've seen with Osse is his Master Sword boss fights have been impeccable throughout the tournament. We won't be seeing very many of those because there's a tempered sword waiting for him at Saucerless Closet. But for now, you can enjoy the show.
Yeah, tempered will be good too.
I'm sure he's very fast at those too.
All right, and as expected, Spleebie has mirrored and is now doing Eastern Palace. He doesn't get to skip this room without a hook shot. But yeah, it should not be a big deal. And yeah, Spleebie had to mirror twice to get to the light world because of the way the light world to dark world transitions work.
Yeah, the mirror checks what screen you're on, not what world you're in. So when you exit the cave from pod, you're never actually moved worlds, you're still in the light world. But the mirror will check that you're on that dark world screen and will mirror you. And when it mirrors you, it just toggles your world and you're in the real dark world now. And then you have to mirror again to get to the light world. Let's see if Osse seems to have a different technique for this island clip. Getting inbounds is the hardest part. Getting out of bounds is very easy.
Mm-hmm. He was a little low to start, but then he found the place to be.
Yeah, he seems to have the right idea of dashing in the cloud border, but just picked the wrong part of the cloud. And Osse gets his Moon Pearl. Spleebie is on 1 HP but has fairies, so he's not in as much danger as it might appear. However, a fairy death would cost him some time. And we find the fourth bottle. No, it's the third bottle. Wait, it is the fourth bottle. I didn't even notice Spleebie picking that up. Yeah, he has 3 and he left one on Zora Ledge, so all bottles are accounted for. He's going to take these fairies because I'm pretty sure taking those is faster than going through the whole fairy death animation.
Probably. Osse earns his bow and book. And
he saves and quits. Yeah, because he doesn't have a pathway to the dark world on the mountain from this side of the mountain. He'll have to come back from the west if he wants to do Hookshot Cave. I imagine he'll probably be following Spleebie's footsteps across the mountain. This time he'll have the hookshot, so Hookshot Cave will be faster. He will still have to clip to the Hookshot Cave because Spleebie is the one who has a glove. And ironically, he loses a little bit of time having Master Sword at the Ether Tablet, because now he has to sit through that animation.
This is true. Alright, Armos Knights for Spleebie. Very well done, not an arrow to waste.
I think Osse was thinking about jumping off the mountain, which would have been an efficient way to get to Hookshot Cave. But if you go into Super Bunny Cave and find a glove, then you gain that time back by not having to do the clip.
Yep. Well, you'd have to come from the waterfall.
Interesting that there are 3 swords between our runners, and each one has the swords the other runner doesn't.
Yeah.
Alright, so what does Dark World access look like in glitch modes? It looks like the mountain again, but this time we jump off the mountain and bonk upward and hit the transition in such a way that we just get auto walk down off the mountain and we are here.
Yeah. This is a common DMD. And where's Spleebie going? Spleebie is going to check Bonk. Yeah.
He beelined the mountain. So I'll be able to mirror to Lumberjack and check that item for us because we couldn't see it, but apparently it was a rod, so I'm very interested to see which one.
Yeah.
It's a little bit cropped on our end, so it's hard to see. So if chat wants to call that out for us, that would be swell.
Spleebie being careful here.
Yeah, that bird will two-shot him. Deciding to leave his portal here to check Lumberjack. Giving him a nice clean dash up the bushes. It's a red rupee. We've been debated.
Okay.
All right, we're clean. No aga seeds today. Spleebie
Lumberjack
is
getting in the
going
way a little
to.
bit.
Yeah, those things have the biggest hitbox. Spleebie left his portal behind. He's like, wait, I want to take this to Skull Woods, not to the Lost Woods, because I think he was muscle memorying some early game routing that you normally do.
I guess that makes sense. Sometimes we don't have to bring our mirror portal everywhere. I don't know where, but for example, we don't always have to bring the portal to the Smith's house.
Yeah, we do this time because we don't have an easy way back to the Dark World other than just climb the mountain again. So this is the right thing to do. He gets an item. Does he keep going? No. Well, he can't from here, but I think he doesn't keep going. He's going to check the
Yeah.
Lost Woods because he hasn't done that yet.
And what's nice about this route, it's a north to south route, and he's got a shovel from the north part of the world, so that might be helpful, efficient. Anyway,
Neither runner has done desert or desert overworld yet, which is normally a very early check.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. All right, Spleebie gets his quake. Wow, the magic hammer is on desert ledge.
So Osse fluted to 6 to get here.
Yeah.
So he got that information and might want to prioritize that before going to Thieves Town. He might dip into Mire and look at that. Pet is dead on Spleebie's side. Just couch cash. Bomba's tablet drops the cape. The cape doesn't matter anymore. We have Burner for Spike Cave, and that's really all we care about. It's just a safety at this point.
Oh, there we go.
And there's a rod. That one's ice, I believe.
Yeah, it is.
So also you'll be grabbing that hammer. I wonder if he was thinking maybe he'll mirror to that check later, but now he wants it because it's a hammer. It's a little bit more important.
Well, hammer could be helpful for Thieves Town if they want to dive in. So it's kind of interesting that Spleebie doesn't have it while he's in the Village of Outcasts.
Thieves Town is also a pendant.
Yeah.
So he might not be incentivized to go to the back at all, especially without the hammer.
Exactly.
And especially because he's already visited Sahasrahla. Osse has not. So Osse might full clear the place when he gets there.
True. Oh wow, another sword.
Okay, so Osse's Sahasrahla sword will be butter. Once again, following that pattern of all 4 swords being in our runner's hands, but not the same runner. Osse is going to pod. Where do they go next? They have the hammer and the lamp, so they can full clear both pod and eastern with ease. Whereas Spleebie was not able to. A very fast Kiki skip too. That was incredible.
Right, and I mentioned before that we can access pod from Spectacle Rock, and that is one of only 4 underworld clips that are in Logic. And in this particular one, we map wrap the underworld. In all the others, the rooms are just simply adjacent to one another.
Mhm.
But this one has the funny side effect of there being no sprites as soon as we enter the dungeon.
It also has the side effect of you're in a cave. And when you're in a cave, your key counter has different properties. You actually don't start with 0 keys, you have -1 keys. And in the Super Nintendo, that means 255 keys, and you can open doors. So you'll see runners unlock the first door, which makes the route a little bit better once they go back in proper pod state. It also means that they don't want to be opening chests while in cave, because if they pick up a key, it will become a cave key and not a pod key. And you don't want cave keys, you want pod keys.
Yeah, in this mode, our runners know not to break the rules of bad chest opening, basically, and we don't open chests while in cave state.
Yeah, we're allowed to. It's just not advised. You could make your seed extremely difficult to beat if you were to do so.
Yeah, exactly. So later in the scene, more underworld clips may come into play from Misery Mire.
Ooh.
What's that?
Osse squandered the good key layout of pod by not checking bridge. Shame.
Yeah.
That sucks. It's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, it was a little difficult for Spleebie to take advantage of it since the big key was in the dark maze.
Yeah, so the way that route works is because we open that extra door in pod, we can avoid getting 2 keys on the Bowlock side if we hammer yump. Because we can skip 2 keys in pod, one of them being hammer yump, one of them being that free cave key. So if you open the other ones first and find 2 items that aren't keys, you'll know that the other 2 are keys and can completely skip the Bowlock side of pod. Now, Osse did not do that, because they just went straight to the Bowlock side, which is a more standard no glitches route. And we'll also have to check Harmless Hallway because there is something there.
And Spleebie is checking all 4 chests of the Youth Town front and is going to the back.
This is bold. I mean, it is green pendant, but also Spleebie has a small key and no hammer.
Yeah, a bit surprising.
Osse has no incentive to hammer yump because they already got the keys from the Bowlock side. Spleebie, unfortunately, as you mentioned, did have to go all the way to the bottom chest to get the key, the big key, making the route a little bit less appealing. Or I should say less convenient. Still saves time, though, over going to Bowlock. Nice chest turn in attic. Finds a compass. That's not great.
Yeah. All right, so Osse with the hammer can get the Helmosaur King. Earn a crystal here.
Osse is also significantly better armed and armored for these dungeons.
Dashes from Spleebie and Blind Cell. No rewards yet.
No, and Spleebie is still missing that hookshot as well, which he will need for Swamp. But it's just sitting in Pyramid Fairy, and because he has the mirror, there isn't really any reason to put that off too long unless he has a ton of crystals to do. Nice dash strat from Osse. You want to dash through the turtles and you have beams, because you can guarantee that you'll kill them instead of get beamed.
Mm-hmm.
One of those little nuances that speeds you up. Simultaneous boss fights on both sides. One of them for a pendant, one of them for a crystal. The green pendant itself is a little isolated for Spleebie, but when he does get the hammer, he can go back to it after fighting Helmasaur. Osse is going to orphan it even harder if he decides to go for it, because he'll have defeated both bosses and checked the closet by the time he gets the green pendant, if he chooses to.
All right, nice fight for Spleebie, and he is heading south.
Spleebie has not looked at Maze Race or the library yet.
Yeah, he'll get his cane here.
Good job remembering that. It's important. I find routing this with the mirror actually kind of awkward. I never know where to go. And I'm not convinced it saves time over just doing it twice. But it sure feels good to do it all together.
Yeah, I agree that it feels awkward. And yeah, I still don't know where to mirror in South Village.
And a more traditional route would have netted you the hammer before coming here. Not that Osse had taken a traditional route by any means, but we'll have that hammer.
And we have
Spleebie is drawing us a picture.
Spleebie's trademarked triangles.
Almost makes it too. That was a lot of digs.
Yeah. Just a red rupee in the maze.
Yeah, each of these mirror transitions is like several seconds long. It feels like it bleeds the time away.
And it's good to see Osse's 3 arrow strat in the Stalfos room. One of those strats that's catching on, and I know Spleebie knows how to do it too. Spleebie's silver arrows are in Mire Hut. Alright, the Quake medallion can open Mire. Spleebie will find the hammer here. I don't know if there is an item in the big chest of thieves.
Well, I can say we'll either find out by seeing Osse get the item, or it won't matter because neither runner will have gotten the item.
Man.
Both runners are finding their tempered sword at this check, at the Desert Torch.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah. Yeah, for those following the Sword Chronicles, we found out where all 4 swords were when neither runner had the same sword.
And we get a big chest turn from Spleebie.
Saving time.
That saves one bigger frame.
One
a small
big
chest
frame.
turn.
Yeah.
And Spleebie mirrors out because he counted his items and knows that there's nothing here for him. So that's a nice desert layout.
Nice fight for Osse.
Yeah. And Spleebie will be skipping land mode because land mode cannot possibly have progression. He's already checked the pedestal and there's no item there. So that is one thing we will not be seeing on Spleebie's side. And Osse will be the first to Butter Sword.
We don't often see our runners walk out of Agina's cave. but we are in the dark world, so we can continue on.
Yeah, we got business. He's going to do some hopping around before going back in his portal, which is probably the more efficient way to check these because clipping is a little faster than mirroring, I think. Mirroring is really slow.
Yeah. And Osse
Oh,
is
Ossie's going...
in Hera, so where's he going to?
Well, I think he's going to... I think he's going to swamp.
I think you're right about that. So this is one of our underworld clips that is in logic. This particular route is not like necessarily in logic, but we can access Swamp Palace from Tower of Hera. And Osse, very nice. So, we need the key that we take from Hera to use on this door right here. And this is part of unlocking Swamp. And Osse is going to use Diver Down to get back the key that has just been flooded. And then...
Third try, dig game.
Oh no!
First try.
And then Osse will be using the key pot to unlock the front door of Hera.
Yeah, he is pointedly ignoring the chests that are on the way because you don't want to collect the big key of Swamp while in Hera because you'll force yourself to open the big chest of Swamp also while in Hera, and that's going to be slow. So it's better to do them on the way back in.
And Spleebie happens to be just a couple of screens away, but not really in remotely the same route.
No, I don't think Spleebie has even done the South Shore checks yet.
Uh-huh. You're probably right.
We call this Hype Cave because we get hyped when Spleebie does chest turns in it.
That is why, yeah.
Spleebie might do a YOLO first chest, so we might actually see really close checks of the first two of Swamp.
Yeah,
first
that's very
one.
possible.
Spleebie will not get far, though, because there's not a key in the first chest.
Yeah, just
But
a
there
red
could have
rupee.
been. There
Yeah,
are 10 chests in Swamp. The key can be placed in one of them in a 1 in 10 chance, and it could be the first one. So you never know. It's the second. It doesn't help us. It doesn't help us at all.
right. And for Osse, it'll just be a bit of a time save because he can skip some other key, basically.
Yeah, one thing I noticed about routing Swamp, and normally you think I'll do left side first because then you can do Dive Bomber and it's a little faster. But if you have that extra small key, you can actually do Argus first. And I believe I saw 2 runners doing it in a race and finish Swamp at the same time, full clearing it in different orders. So you might actually be better off doing Argus first just to maybe skip left side. Because you can still do Dive Bomber with that extra key.
And we do have this key now, but there's still the possibility. There could have been a possibility of the key being on left side, which adds another dungeon item that we wouldn't really want.
Yeah, and it also prohibits you from doing the Dive Bomber if you're coming back in from Argus. So you would be disincentivized from checking left side at all if you know that one of those items is the small key.
Powder is found in Swamp.
Okay, it's an easy check with the flute. Spleebie is going to be the first to Ice Rod Cave because Osse fluted away when they were here. So, what's in here? This is a Sphere 1 location.
All right, and we're already at Argus here. Osse's got Gold Sword. It's kind of unclear to me whether he started with a dash poke or not. Because Gold Sword is a little different from Tempered Strat, but more or less very similar.
Gets a fast 1 cycle
Yeah.
and 2 spins. Osse is ahead 3 crystals on Spleebie.
Yeah. The routing has been very efficient for Osse relative to Spleebie in this race.
And Spleebie is returning to Zora, which was left behind due to lack of funds. A little less efficient. Now Osse will get to do Catfish and Zora with the money and will not have to come back twice.
Just a piece of heart at Zora.
So what are we looking at? Osse doesn't know that Ether is for Meyer, so that is not listed on their tracker. Spleebie knows it and needs it. Both runners need Fire Rod. Spleebie needs Hook Shot, which is probably why he didn't go into Swamp from Hera like Osse did. Alright, this is the beginning of an escape play for Spleebie. We'll be getting the lamp and potentially linking this up with the pyramid when he does the front.
And Osse's continuing into the South Dark World. It looks like he's setting up a Meyer clip here. We saw before the screen flashing in a strange and hard to look at manner. That will end when Osse either goes into a cave or maps.
Alright, I actually thought that Spleebie was going to the escape, but actually is going to pod to finish off Helmosaur and turn in that green pendant. There's no reason not to do this now. It is something he has to do at some point. So, and we'll have a green pendant to turn in and capitalize on that play into Thieves Town if there is something there. He's going for the insta-clip method, but is not quite placing his bomb right. Getting interrupted by the Moldorm, but makes it.
The Moldorm seemed to give him more power.
Yeah. Got a little boost from it. Osse is going to Ganon's Tower and Spike Cave. This is a very popular play when you have at least left side access or right side access and you're looking for the other one. It's a pretty safe play to go in here and good chance that it's just here because there's a lot of checks in GT. If Osse finds the big key, we'll be able to climb and get that out of the way. And
right, so Osse is leaving Spike Cave and will just be traveling south to the bottom of the mountain where we can screen wrap and land Link directly in front of the entrance of Ganon's Tower.
Osse wasted no time getting hearts in Spike Cave. He has fairies, so he's not in danger, but interesting thing to note.
Yeah, just enough.
Gets the big key immediately. That is climb, available and in logic. Not going for tile room.
Yeah. All right, so like you said, Osse's not going to the right side yet. He's checking DM room first and left side.
Osse carefully avoiding the fire
Ooh.
spitters, which would one-shot them. I don't think I've seen that bonk to get back here before. It looks very efficient.
Oh, I missed how we got the 3 hearts. Maybe Osse heart duped.
Well, there was a heart. Yeah, there was a heart in the pot, but I think they also had one coming out, but I'm not sure how. Yeah, it might have been a dupe, actually. It's a good point. Gets one here too.
All right, so Helma goes down for Spleebie. And is it time to go to Sahas? No. Yes.
Yeah, you got a mirror. I wonder if Spleebie was thinking walk out, but you can't walk out of pod when you haven't paid the monkey. You can't let the monkey know that you've scammed him. Moment of truth for Spleebie. Was Thieves Town a waste of time? Or was it the play? It was not the play.
Yeah, that's too bad. A bit of a disadvantage here as we look for our final items. So far, we know we need the Fire Rod and the Ether Medallion.
Yeah, I think Spleebie, if Spleebie's either going to Ganon's Tower or Pyramid Fairy, and I think Pyramid Fairy is a little more likely, lacking the hook shot. Most of Ganon's Tower is out of logic. Spleebie can still do Spike Cave on the way down, just like Osse did. But might chain this into a different check.
Yeah, true.
One thing that would be bad for Spleebie is if he decides to go into Ganon's Tower anyway, finds the big key, and then decides to climb and hover, and then mirror to the escape afterward, he will orphan Pyramid Fairy, and that would be very bad.
Yeah. On the other hand, Spleebie doesn't really need to full clear Swamp Palace because there's nothing in it, was there?
No, well, we didn't see Osse do left side. And I didn't count items to know if there was something there or not, but I did see him pick up some things that weren't. But I did see some dungeon items from Swamp, so there's definitely something there.
Well, Spleebie did offset his portal to the pyramid, so we'll be seeing Hookshot in a moment.
Yeah. And the reason Osse didn't do left side, I might think, oh, it's 3 items, why don't you do it? Because Osse, when they went there, they saw there was a no small key in the front. When there's no small key in the front, that means the logic expects you to go through Mire. But if you're missing the Mire medallion, the whole thing is out of logic. So if you are looking for only the Mire medallion, you are wasting your time in there. It could still be the Fire Rod.
Yeah, that makes sense. Forgot about that aspect.
Going into Swamp early without medallion might seem like a bold move, but it's a really important information play. Osse has been in 2 seeds this tournament where the small key of Swamp was vanilla and Mire medallion was inside.
Right.
So is well aware of that possibility.
Mm-hmm. All right. So I was a bit distracted. I did not see the 5 rooms of Gauntlet, but it looked like Osse got through them with lightning speed.
That landmo setup looked really clean too. The sword buffering to set up the timing.
Yeah, I'm less familiar with that one since I'm more familiar with a bonk setup.
Osse has to use lamp in here, lacking Fire Rod.
Right.
And remembers to light the bottom torch. Ooh, very nice setup. And even gets the dash down the lane.
Nice magic refill, incidentally, from the Helma. Oh, Ether is found. Ether.
Yep,
mini Helma sword room.
So if Spleebie goes here with this hook shot, Spleebie will have an in-logic Ice Palace, or Swamp Palace, and Mire to clear. We'll only be missing the fire rod, which is needed for Skullwoods and Turtle Rock. Which means also that Spleebie can safely skip everything in Ganon's Tower that's locked behind the fire rod. Doesn't know it yet, but will not have to worry about coming back to GT as long as he doesn't leave behind an item in tile room. Spleebie is going for Swamp and Hera. Well, Hera, because he hasn't been up here yet. So we don't actually know if Swamp is the next play or not.
If I were Spleebie, I might make the wrong decision, even if I went to Ganon's Tower. I'm following your logic, but I might not do it right.
Well, we don't know that Swamp is the wrong decision yet.
Oh, okay.
Because left side could have the fire rod.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing we know is what we've seen, which is that Thieves Town was the wrong decision. And Osse hasn't been to Village at all yet, so
yeah,
might be tempted in when they go there and might find something in the big chest.
All right, Aghanim 2 is down for Osse. I wonder what is next. I wonder if it could be Hammer Pegs, which we could swim to if we wanted to.
Hammer Pegs would be a very safe play because swimming to it is the easiest way to route it in when you don't have a mitts. There are other ways there, but there are route enders and a little awkward to route around. This one's a route ender in a place where you would normally end your route anyway. And Osse will have the opportunity to use the hook shot to do a trick to get out of that Hammer Pegs cage and do Village of Outcasts. This is a really nice route that Osse has set up for themselves.
Is it a trick or a glitch?
Well, I don't know. No glitch is legal. You can do it in cross keys.
That's true.
Doesn't mean that it's not a glitch, though.
Yeah. So Spleebie is going to Swamp using a dash clip, one of the more recent strategies.
Dash clip is a modern clip that I think a lot of the more recent major glitch runners have taken on, and then some of the more experienced ones like Spleebie have also adopted because we find it a little easier than the bomb clip. And it doesn't cost a bomb and it doesn't hurt you.
Yeah. It was pretty far out when Yuzu discovered it, maybe this year. Oh,
sorry.
Vanilla half magic.
Vanilla half magic.
Very nice.
Osse really doesn't need that, but it's nice. You don't complain about that.
All right, and Mushroom.
So Spleebie's in the same position Osse was in, where he will not want to necessarily full clear Swamp. I'm surprised he's going in here anyway because he knows it's Mire locked, having already checked the first chest, where Osse did not.
Yeah. True. Interesting.
Yeah, all right, here's the trick from Osse. There you go, very clean. It's not hard to do. It's a couple inputs that are really similar to Icebreaker, even though the principle is different.
Yeah.
And will Osse be giving Spleebie back some time that Spleebie lost in Thieves Town? And will it net Osse the fire rod in the big chest? These are the big questions. And will Spleebie do left side? I doubt it, but maybe.
Yes, these are the questions that will determine our runner's fate. There is more to do in this seed that we haven't seen. We have a full clearable Ice Palace available, we don't have the mitts, but we don't need them because there is a flippers wrap that is in logic.
And the mirror wrap that is not in logic, which is probably what we'll be seeing because it's a lot easier.
Right.
And for Aussie, we also have a full clearable Misery Mire.
Right.
I think Aussie might skip Skullwoods entirely and go south from here.
Okay. Yeah.
Aussie says no.
Yeah, it makes sense to me. I think Aussie's been doing well with going for crystals.
Yeah. And if Aussie does Mire,
pendants.
if Aussie does Mire and doesn't find anything in there, that is the opportunity to go back into Swamp and clean up those checks that they left behind.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Ooh.
Yeah, it looks like
Spleebie also.
It looked like Spleebie started with a hook dash, and it went wrong basically. Wow, I didn't realize
Nice.
he had the ice rod out. So
Yeah, quick swap.
that was nice.
Oh yeah, there's
Clean up.
a lot of stuff in left side swamp. Because I saw a map, or I saw a compass and a small key and a big key. I guess I also, I didn't look at the map. I didn't see if there was a map also, but yeah, it's... Oh, Spleebie's going back in. Out of logic. This is wacky, but sure. This might make or break the tournament for Spleebie. Although if Aussie goes in here after Swamp, or after Mire, it won't matter as much. Because Spleebie still needs to climb Ganon's tower.
Yeah.
There's also, of course, Turtle Rock. And it's here!
Wow.
It's in the big chest.
That's
And
huge.
Spleebie's gonna keep going. Spleebie, leave! This is out of logic.
Right. Yeah, that's unfortunate. This is one of the things I learned from the tournament. Basically, it's it's hard to remember. He knows. He remembers.
He remembers.
Yes.
Good job, Spleebie. Use your brain. This is a really brain-intensive mode. It's so hard to keep track of all this in your head. The swamp logic is like primer levels of convolution. It's insane. We get into situations where Vitreous is locking Argus. It's it's dumb.
Yeah, I want to give a special shout out to Crubble, who was very enthusiastic about the logic of HMG when he discovered it. So
yes.
I do feel that the just the 4 toggles that have changed from overworld glitches have made a very dynamic and interesting to race mode.
Yeah, you call it 4 toggles. It's 1 toggle. It's called Underworld 1-frame clips, and it's 4 clips. Right. And that's all we did, and that made this mode so much more interesting than overworld glitches. Now, if you're wondering why it's called hybrid major glitches, there is a mode called major glitches where you're expected to do all this, but you also are expected to do a whole bunch of bunny stuff because the moon pearl will just get yeeted across the world and you're not really supposed to get it.
And Spleebie isn't Turtle Rock. He used a mirror wrap and is now going to clear Turtle Rock from back to front. It makes sense as a play. He's going to try to avoid full clearing Ganon's tower. And he does get to avoid right side.
Spleebie has the option of going to
doesn't.
Ganon's tower and
Just kidding.
Going upstairs.
Yeah.
But you're right about, you said this about right side is Spleebie has read the logic about Swamp and knows that the Fire Rod was in Swamp. So
yeah,
the Mire Medallion can't be Fire Rod locked.
Right.
And Spleebie might be thinking, Ganon's Tower is probably just Fire Rod locked anyway. Like, why would I go here looking for the Mire Medallion? And if it's not, then I'm full clearing the place. But
Right.
Turtle Rock, you often has to full clear anyway just to get the big key. And same is true for GT, but TR is almost like you always have to go through at least half of it just to get to the locations that the big key can be. So it might as well full clear it first and then do Ganon's Tower, which I imagine after Skullwoods. Spleebie might map wrap to Skullwoods, actually. It's just prime opportunity for it.
Right.
I'd be interested to see if Osse goes back into Swamp. Will this be a close race?
Yeah, if he goes into Swamp, it'll really feel like his advantage. So I still feel like it's anyone's race right now. Oh, Spleebie got bopped back from the chomps and needed to blast another block.
Osse does not have the fire out and cannot spooky. It's sad. It's the one thing, no matter how skilled you are, you can't spooky without the fire rod. So there's no backup all dungeons fire rodless spooky. You just have to open the bomb wall like a chump.
Right. And
Did we see the big key from Spleebie yet? Because the deeper into TR the big key is for Spleebie, the less Spleebie loses by doing this first. So if big key is here in this room, then Spleebie doesn't lose any time doing Turtle Rock first. Unless he also full clears Skullwoods, which might happen. And to be fair, Osse can also full clear Skullwoods. He hasn't been there at all. Might even get the shovel and follow it. Like that could... Okay, Osse goes back in.
Yeah. So this could be good for Osse here.
Wow, nice cane strat. So this is a beeline for what I imagine is Swamp Palace. Kind of smart to like use Meyer as a way to get back to these chests you left behind. Osse has been very good about cleaning up lost checks efficiently.
Yeah, exactly.
I think in this seed, we're going to see all but one of the logical clips. We will not be seeing Ice Palace unless Osse goes there, but Osse is not going to go there because the fire rod is here. Spleebie could go there, but I can't imagine he chooses that over Ganon's Tower. That would be a clown play.
Yeah.
Apologies to future Spleebie who does exactly that. Ooh, Osse having bad luck with the Moldworm. Some people will just kill the Moldworm preemptively. But that Moldworm went off to the right and seemed to be safe. So Spleebie's going back to the Dark World.
Right.
Now, hold your breaths. This is a little bit dangerous. But Spleebie's doing... Oh, Spleebie's not doing this at all.
Oh, yeah. All right,
He's going back to Mimic Cave. He's going back to Mimic Cave. So Osse's the first in go mode. And is actually in the lead.
Yeah, for sure.
Spleebie hasn't done Meyer or TR yet, or GT. Has done TR. Osse just has to do TR in Skullwoods and beat the game.
Yeah, this is for the map wrap fans. A late fire rod is kind of asking for that kind of route.
Yeah. One thing that could happen to Osse is if this does hard lock, then Osse loses all of Turtle Rock. But nobody's hard locked on map wrap yet. I don't want to say that. It hasn't happened yet. Osse's doing a different setup for mirror wrap. Starting a little bit higher. Accomplishes the same thing. Spleebie is going to somewhere that is not Ganon's Tower. Oh, he's just going to do Skullwoods. That makes sense. does not have the mitts.
Ah,
That's a little rough. Spleebie might even search for more items if Mothula doesn't drop one.
right. Okay, so Spleebie's found one item so far in Skull Woods. It was the shovel. And like you said, we're going to hope that Spleebie doesn't have to search for more items after fighting Mothula, but we shall see.
Mothula is a little more likely to drop an item than any of the other chests because Mothula cannot have a key. But it could be the big key leading to the item, and that would be obnoxious. Now you can see the power of map wrap is Spleebie would have been done with this by now if he had gone to map wrap, but Mimic Cave was a location he didn't feel like he could leave behind safely, so he went there instead.
Yeah, I would have done the same thing, I think.
Opens with a poke dash and gets some sword hits eaten, but has a really good Mothula fight otherwise. Gets the map.
Yeah.
Unfortunate.
Moth was
How is
pretty well
Osse on
behaved.
mirror? Osse's
Yeah, I
on
missed
mirror
the shield situation.
What is this? They must have been all been in Ganon's tower.
Old sword, silver's red mail, mirror, shield.
Oh, I didn't think about this, but Moth being fire rod locked means this chest cannot be ether. Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
That's true. As Spleebie forgot also. I completely forgot. Fully admit. Our tracker has reminded us. But everything in the front is still available.
And I'm still learning, apparently.
Osse is zeroing in on Trinex, and if they map wrap to Mothula and don't hardlock, this is definitely the race to lose.
For sure.
I actually wonder if Spleebie wanted that small key. It seems... No, you don't do that. You just drop in the hole. No, I think Spleebie just did the same thing I did and forgot that Fire Rod was in Swamp. It's a weird thing to think of. Fire Rod is locking the Meyer medallion because it was in Swamp.
Yeah.
It's a very alien notion.
Yeah.
Ganon's tower for Spleebie, looks like. This is the last thing that isn't Pendant Ice or Overworld. But it's probably not going to be enough unless something catastrophic happens to Osse. Because Spleebie will have to climb. If Spleebie takes this big key and climbs, it's a little better, but probably will not do that.
Yeah. Osse is back in the dark world.
And this is map wrap.
Yeah, he aligns against the rocks to start. Boost clips to the right. Dashes down. Gets the transition. Now has to be a little careful. And wants to adjust very carefully to the left. Because it's very important not to move right and not to get nudged to the right. So he gets it. All he has to do now is fight Mothula, and then he's on his way to Ganon.
It's actually been timed that walking out of Skullwoods and river clipping to Ganon is faster than save and quit. Depends on whether Osse A knows that and B knows how to do the river clip. Probably does, but the river clip to Ganon is a little bit different than the light world that Osse would be used to from speedruns. So
yeah, I'd be a little bit. Yeah, I'd be a little bit surprised if Osse has practiced the river clip to Ganon. It's one of those things that, if you haven't really practiced it, then you'll just get hula hands because of the camera movement. It has to. It's kind of funky. You just start to the left and then you go up, basically, but it can still get messed up.
You have to be careful not to scroll your camera in certain directions, and I think left and then up is safe, which is the same inputs you would take to Aga Tower. But it doesn't matter. Like, Osse can take any route to Ganon and still be in a commanding lead.
Yeah.
It's going to mirror and flute, keeping it simple.
Yeah. Mirror
and flute might be a little faster than save and quit. So Osse has managed to skip all of the back of Thieves Town and Ice Palace. All of Skullwoods was in go mode.
Yeah. And Osse falls to Ganon. This will be no problem. Like I mentioned, we have gold sword and silver arrows.
Still sets up the 1-on-1. Nice.
Always good for practice.
Showing that you don't need the gold sword for this fight.
Yeah. Okay, we are seeing tile room from Spleebie. I appreciate that being thorough.
Tile room is, I think, out of logic for keys. Like, I think it's a key. But I'm never 100% sure about tile room status. I feel like it's a key, but it might just be a key upstairs.
It is a key.
Yeah, it doesn't mean I'm right. You can pretend I am.
It just is.
Sometimes it just is. And that's
Ganon
GG for Osse.
GG's to Osse.
Taking the first match of 3 or 2. Best of 3 match for bronze, 3rd place in the Hybrid Major Glitches tournament. Just occurred to me how fast 1:17:18 is. GG, Osse.
GG's.
Hey, GG.
Yeah, 1:17, a solid HMG run.
Yeah, solid time, but it felt like it could have been a lot faster.
I was very impressed with your route. You took a lot of creative turns, like splitting Kakariko in half, using the hookshot escape from Hammer Pegs to clean up Village of Outcasts.
Yeah, I like my route too. Like, it's just cool.
Yeah,
Oh,
and using Mire to clean up Swamp made the difference.
Yeah, Spleebie found Fire Rod first, but it did look like you were going to clean it up, and that really solidified your advantage. Since you found Go Mode first, of course.
Yeah, the fire rod location didn't look advantageous to me because there were 3 items in Swamp, but I did it
Mhm.
relatively early, so it didn't make sense for me to go back. I thought he would.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Spleebie did a couple of extra things since he did Thieves Town, and his routing just wasn't as efficient as yours. But Spleebie had 2 Palace of Darkness dips, for example.
Yeah, the hammer find was lucky. Like, I could have started dipping dungeons, but then just did some more overworld checks, got hammered.
Both of you took a while to get to Desert, which is surprising, but it really was just the hammer, and the hammer didn't matter as much as it could have. It didn't even lock Ether.
Nope. So it was hammer, ice rod, and tempered sword all in that desert area.
Oh, this was a basement clip seed. You could have
Well.
skipped hammer with basement clip. Oh my goodness.
Skip a light world ledge item hammer. Sure.
No, I don't know it. I saw a clip of it, but it's too complicated.
It looks like a pain in the butt.
Yeah, and did you learn the teleport part of it, Osse? I thought I saw that. No, you didn't learn it. Okay, I thought you had learned half of it for some reason. Okay.
I thought I saw you practicing it in
I was
pre-stream.
Like, I saw the clip and I was just eyeballing what the clip did.
Oh,
I see.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, just eyeball
that's
basement
the
clip.
first part.
That's how you learn, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It kind of is half of the trick. It's just that the last part repeats itself and is especially frustrating. And as Louis says, he's never been actually angry at a glitch in A Link to the Past before until doing that one. Louis used to have world record in all dungeons before Yuzuhara took it with his route.
Yeah, like, it's in the main route now, so you gotta learn it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, I know someone who's learning it.
Crystal.
Yeah, it's not me.
And I might learn it.
Yeah, and you. That's right. You've been learning, though. Yeah, you've been hardcore learning that because you also picked up the hover that makes it worth it. All right, Spleebie has finished off Aga. Still has to do Mire, so we'll probably be taking a super jump route down. Starting from the mountain. That's usually what that means.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we're going to get the check slide. Let's go for it.
Yeah, so we're seeing the Death Mountain super drop from Spleebie. He jumps off and screen wraps 4 times and then does it again. That puts Spleebie at the very bottom of the map. And Spleebie, oftentimes we see runners correct their camera because Link is sort of not in sync with the camera. But it doesn't matter. Spleebie knows exactly where Mire is, and he knows exactly what medallion to use to open it. And there we go.
The check slide. And the Wrath of Zeus.
Scroll.
The scrolly scroll.
That's a cool scroll. Haven't seen that one.
It it only involves walking down while pressing Y. That's why I guess accidentally found it. And it apparently can save up to 6 frames. I haven't timed it in a while, but I did time it. Not very much.
Yeah. So that's one. I think that's a trick that I went and learned because it's always suggested as a way to get to Mire. But you have to do a lot of it blind.
Yeah.
And that's a pain.
Yeah, I agree. I
We
can't.
saw Spleebie splash around a little bit.
It looks obnoxious, but I'm sure once you learn it, it's like doing Kiki. It just you learn the motions. At least Spleebie gets a Godmire, right? Gets to
Yeah.
hover to the door. Small mercy for Spleebie. And gets it.
All
Nice
done.
job.
All these hovers in this tournament.
Yeah. Hey, I saw you hovering in the pre-practice ROM hack thingy.
Yeah, I can pretend to hover.
Your early routes involved each of you having an item that the other could have used. Since Spleebie had Moonpearl early, but not Hookshot, he hovered Hookshot Cave. And
Spleebie,
yeah.
sorry. Spleebie
Oops.
is having a couple difficulties with Spooky. The first one being that switch was not necessary. Probably going to run into the second one right here, where it doesn't have enough magic to use the fire rod. That's unfortunate,
Yikes.
because that Spooky looks really cool, and we didn't get to see it from you because you didn't have the fire rod here.
No fire rod, no red boomerang.
Oh yeah, you were the one who did the boomerang in that other race. That was kind of cool to see. First time I've seen it used in a race.
Yeah, I always forget about it.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
It's the only place
To forget
want
about
use
it or to do?
No, to do it. Like, why not?
Because you forget about it. I forgot it existed until I saw you do it in the other race. Oh, that's where the shield was. Okay.
Mhm.
We were wondering why Spleebie was still in Fighter's shield when you found your mirror shield. Spleebie is going to walk to Ganon, which also confirmed to be faster than saving and quitting.
Not sure it would be fluting to 5 though.
Yeah, I'll have to ask Krithel to time that too. I gotta make a list for him next time he's on stream. All right. It's going to be another straightforward Ganon fight for Spleebie.
But yeah, always good to see the funky tiles crop up behind the pyramid objects. When we come from Mire, we see the lava sky.
almost setting up for the silver list. Realizes he doesn't need it. I think that counted. You got an actual silver list hit. Oh, he's going for them on purpose. He could cut a cycle if he does that.
Yeah.
It gets the double instead and finishes.
GG's to Spleebie. We'll see if Spleebie will be coming in for an interview.
Shoutouts to 2,000 rupees, by the way.
Oh, yeah. I noticed Osse had 2,000 rupees while in Turtle Rock. And as a meme, I want to say that having zeros in the numeral slots cuts out lag time.
Oh yeah, that definitely determined the race. GG Spleebie.
GG, Spleebie.
Hey, thanks. GG's, Aussie.
GG.
It was really interesting to follow your route after Fire Rod because I kept being reminded from Malmo that your checks were either in or out of logic, depending.
And not to mention our tracker Arturel, who had to remind me that Fire Rod could not lock Mothula either.
I mean, that's what I realized why I left 2 things in left side swamp. And then
Yeah.
when Moth didn't have the item, it's like, okay, it wasn't fire rod locked, so I needed to clear the front. And then skipping right side GT basement for the same reason.
Yeah, there's some interesting logic. If you go into swamp and actually open chests in it while it's out of logic, you get some good logic reads from it. Now, Osse had done a swamp early as well and did no left side at all, and then came back for it after Mire, which made a lot of sense because Mire is a gateway into swamp, and you can do that.
Okay. I was assuming that Aussie just got ether or did upstairs GT early and got ether and went to swamp for fire rod. Sounds like I'll have to watch it back and see where he went instead.
Yeah, it was interesting for sure seeing that those early swamp plays from both of you. Actually, you were in swamp close to each other where you were doing South Shore and did the first chest right after Osse had done the partial clear of swamp.
Yeah, that could have been really interesting if the first chest were a key.
I think Osse's done with those seeds.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah.
I had one of those yesterday.
Oh,
Yeah, another one? And
Yeah.
was it Medallion and Swamp again?
No, it's Pendant Mire, and I don't know where the medallion was.
Oh, that's even cooler. All right. There's a YOLO first chest and don't have to look for Medallion Seed or Steel Key Rat.
I don't usually go for the yellow chest check, but since I hadn't done the dam yet and I'd already pulled it, it seemed like a no-brainer.
Oh, yeah. Something you do in like inverted too. If you're doing your first light roll checks and you have the opportunity to get one more, there's no reason not to pick that up as well. I mean, that chest could also be ether. So tomorrow, Spleebie and Osse will be facing off again at the same time, 10:30 Eastern, for Game 2. And if there's a Game 3, it'll be the same time on Wednesday. So stick around for that. Follow the runners so you don't miss any of it, and follow the tournament schedule. Also, give a shout out to Check Seaman, my co-commentator, and our tracker Arturil, who has been keeping us on track not just with items, but with the item logic in the late game.
And thanks for commentating and restream tracker, everything.
thanks for racing. Yeah, a lot of fun commentating. Good race. Looking forward to tomorrow. You want to take us out of here, Malmo?
Sure. Thanks for watching, everybody. We will be back tomorrow with another one. And later on, I think on the weekend of the 15th, we'll have our finals match. It's not set in stone yet, but both runners are out of town and we'll be returning for that a little bit later. So keep an eye on the schedule. Even if you see nothing on it, it will show up.
See you next time.